Right, well, welcome. We're joined by Michelle Dillon, who's on the eMarketing and Persuasive Content course. Say hello.
No. This is what the site looked like before, and as you can see, there was an emphasis on it being called NG Magazine.
Yeah.
And then we've made the transition into what it's looking like now. But basically, it wasn't ever intended to be a news website. It was just intended to complement a proper print magazine. So before I came onto the course, I decided that because the website had done really well, that we were just going to keep it as a web-only resource. But because it had just kind of all developed into some kind of weird mishmash of what I thought a website should have on it in terms of content, I didn't really know where it was going. So it was a bit confused. I think the layout and design was just not that great. And you know, we learnt a lot throughout the course about eye tracker and design to make it a lot more accessible, look a lot more like a conventional news site. I mean, there are already a few things going on that are Web 2-y, like we had a blog and we had a kind of mashup going on with C-tickets where you could go straight through, see what was happening in Nottingham and buy tickets for gigs then and there. And that was working quite well, actually. I think it took a while for the site to be established and to be trusted, but we noticed after a certain date there were a lot of tickets being bought through the site. So that was kind of working quite well. So we had that kind of thing going on, but we weren't doing enough of what we should be doing. I don't think we were engaging with our audience enough in the way that it looked. And you know, you gave us some really barbed criticism with the logo looking a bit like the National Trust. No, but it worked because you know it kind of made me really look at it and what we've gone for now. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but it's way more Mac-like, a lot cleaner, a lot more accessible. We've really used eye tracker to kind of keep away from these big blocks that would prevent people from scrolling down the page. So we've made it all into like nice little columns, but to try and keep it all quite subtle so that your eye moves down. And this is actually just the first stage of changes. It's going to develop even further, and we're going to add more functionality into it. We're really going off on one with the Web 2 stuff. We're going to add an RSS news feed. We're going to add a mobile group and ways for different sets of people to keep in touch with us in different ways, depending on what they're looking for.
Fantastic. So on the sort of entering the course, there was a magazine. There was print, went out free.
There was an idea for a magazine. It's kind of difficult to describe it. It started off as a website, but there was intended to be a print version to complement it. But we decided to kind of do away with that because we realised that there was, well, our target audience was actually online, and we decided to like maximise that. And with the the resurgence of things like Facebook and social networking, we thought it would actually probably be a bit silly to actually go down the print route, and we just thought, why not just make it into a really great online resource.
Really trying to be all things to all people. And I sort of get the feel that you're moving towards more sort of niches, a bit more of a sort of tribal sense of belonging, or identifying who your customers are. Who are you aiming at, or what are the groups of people?
Well, when we first launched it, I envisaged it to be 18 to 35-year-olds, but as the year went on, we realised, and particularly when Channel 4 approached us, we realised we were getting anything from 15-year-olds to like 40-year-olds looking at the site.
As old as that?
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
isn't it?
probably even older.
Still in there. Sure, it's a content site, so that is the commodity, isn't it? How are you going to generate the content, and who's going to generate it?
Well, at the moment it's a combination of me and a team of journalists and photographers. We're actually looking to syndicate our content for free, like to promote ourselves, but also do it in a paid capacity. One of our photographers works for the Press Association, so she's advising me on syndicating images. So we're looking to kind of maximising revenue from those kinds of things as well.
Okay, so you're building up like a community of journalists out there, volunteers, paid, not unpaid?
Well, like some of them are freelancers and they're paid, but it's a combination of paid and unpaid. But I think the most important thing that we're trying to put across is that it's kind of quality writing. Like we tap into specific groups of people, not just like, not being funny, but it's not just any old Tom, Dick or Harry that can write for us. Really, we want people that have got real opinions and who are kind of, like, without saying too much, we're looking at other revenue streams that are kind of unconventional for websites, but steering away from traditional advertising by actually tapping into niche audiences and giving them what they want.
So it's kind of behavioural marketing, it's contextualised.
Yeah.
Excellent, okay. Yeah. Tell me about how the site was performing, and I know it's very, very early days for this, but how was the site performing, and what are your targets for the next year then?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was doing really well in terms of getting visitors. It was getting, before we did this course, about 1,200 uniques a week. But then, when I went into the figures and I looked at bounce back rates, I think our bounce back rate was shocking. It was something like 50%, which is really, really bad. And it was going from the homepage as well. So,
this just wasn't cutting it at all?
Yeah, it wasn't. And I think a lot of people would have just looked at it and felt a bit confused and not known what they were looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that wasn't a good thing. Although, you know, we were attracting like a certain amount of traffic, but we wanted to be able to like use it and keep it there. So
how are you getting 1,200 people? Was it pay per click? Was it?
No, it's just
purely organic?
It's purely it's purely organic, word of mouth, and running our competitions, because we've always got like really good competitions on our website, and I think that's really helped spread the word. So yeah, that's the main thing that drove it, and also people that signed into our newsletter, because we send out an email newsletter every month, and that kind of helps traffic go along. Yeah. But we want to really build on that. I mean, we've got a PR. We had a PR of 4. I think my aims are by the end of year 2 to have a PR of 6 plus, which is really ambitious. But I think, well, might as well go for it.
Through content.
Well,
a lot of content.
We want
get
to
people to link to it.
Yeah, exactly. We want to score inbound links. We want to syndicate our content across more sites, so we get a higher profile. We want to build a community of users as well by encouraging more user participation, and we want to do these like competition things that I keep mentioning in a sly way.
That's a great idea. So you need to generate some quality content, and then get people to start to link to that organically, and make it so good that they would naturally want to link to it as well as sort of forcing it.
Exactly. We've rewritten our About Us stuff, and you know, by using persuasive content, and we're going to just make one page where we literally just talk about us and what we do, and go through the left brain, right brain stuff, and then just have links to at the end about how they can get involved, and whether they're a visitor who just wants to opt into our newsletter, or whether they want to list their events and find out how to do it. And we're also going to add the ability for people to just list events and pay directly through PayPal.
I don't know how big it would have to be, maybe 10,000 people's details, and reasonably active would probably be enough for a few people to make a living out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And how do you survive till then?
Well, like, I mean, I'm doing bits and bobs on the side, but everything that we are making is literally being ploughed back into it. And you're right, you know, at the moment it is a bit of a slightly tricky phase, but I think the new ideas that I've got are really going to tap into the niche markets that we've learnt about in the long tail kind of stuff. And I think it could work, and it could really, I mean, I know people that are already doing similar projects, like national brands, so I reckon if we can pull it off, I think it could work, and we could make quite a bit out of it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's
a high risk one, but you stand to win.
Are you adding any video onto the site?
Yes, we are actually. Forgot to mention that. We're going to add podcasts and videos here in little tabs as well. So there's a lot more to come. Like, this is literally just the first stage, but we're going to be adding a lot more dynamic stuff right onto the homepage.
Is that so you can sample some of the gigs that people have been reviewing?
Yeah, we're hoping to get. God, I did go out with my video.
Copyright would be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
It would be. I mean, I did go out with my video camera at this mad kind of crazy rave thing like a few weeks ago, and we've got those to put on straight away. So you're right. The copyright thing is going to be tricky with bigger bands, but I think we can still get in there at like smaller scale events that we know are going to be quite exciting and get them up there. But yeah, we've got a lot more content that's going to like come over the next few weeks. So watch this space.
But I think the time is right. It sounds like your skills are right as well for this. So it's quite an exciting time for you.
Yeah, well, if it does do well, it's down to the course. I think I've learnt a lot about what we were doing wrong and what we can hopefully do right to help things along.